which point lies in the solution set for the system. So they give you two systems of inequalities, and they tell you which of the following points is a solution. Now, if you want, you can go and graph both inequalities and decide which of them got shaded twice, got overlap, which is part of the solution, or in this case, we can just plug it in, x and y. And it has to give you a true statement, not just for one, but it has to give you a true statement for both inequalities. It is a good idea when you do this to be able to label your work, so you can always go back and check and see if you made a mistake. You can go back and easily find it, rather than having to do everything all over again. Let me plug in an x. We have a negative 8x plus 3y is greater than 4. Instead of the x will be a negative 6, instead of the y will be a negative 5. That gives me positive 48 minus 15 is a greater than 4. That gives you a 33 is greater than 4. Yes. Let me try letter B. The second one, second inequality. If it works for the first one, we need to make sure that it works for the second one. Negative 7x minus 6y is less than 9. So instead of the x, I'm going to plug in a negative 6. Instead of the y, I'm going to plug in a negative 5. That gives me a 42 plus 35. Is that going to be less than 9? No. So my answer is not A. Let me try letter B. I'm going to plug in a 1 and a 1 for each one of them. So I have negative 8x plus 3y is greater than 4. Plug in a 1 for each one of them. So negative 8 plus 3 is greater than 4. Is negative 5 greater than 4? No. So I can go and cancel letter B. If it doesn't work for the first one, we don't need to check the second one. It has to work for both. Let me try letter C. I'm going to plug in a 1 for the x and a negative 8 for the y. So I have negative 8x plus 3y is greater than 4. Instead of the x, I'm going to plug in a 1. Instead of the y, I'm going to plug in a negative 8. That gives me a negative 8 minus 24 is it greater than 4? No. So letter C. You do want to be able to spend the time and see if letter D works out. Because if it doesn't, you know you probably made a little mistake on one of the previous problems. So we have negative 8x plus 3y is greater than 4. And I'll plug in the value of x to be a negative 1 and the value of y to be a 9. So that gives me 8 plus 27. Is that going to be greater than 4? Yes. Let's try the second inequality. Negative 7x minus 6y is less than 9. So instead of the x, I'm going to plug in a negative 1. Instead of the y, I'm going to plug in a 9. I have 7 minus 54 is less than 9. Is negative 47 less than 9? Yes. Therefore, your answer is letter D. But you do need to go through the process and check each answer. And it is very important that you organize your work. So in case you get an incorrect answer, you can always go back and check and see why you did incorrect.